Hi, my name's Matt.
And I'm James. Today we're going to show you a suggested way to provide consistent, secure surgical knotting.
Traditionally, we learn to square all our knots. However, the disadvantage of this technique is that once the first knot is placed, in the process of placing the second knot, if the tension on the first knot becomes slightly loose, the second square knot locks the suture in an incorrect position. Therefore, you will not get adequate tension at the closure site.
Our suggested method is to begin by placing 2 slip knots. The second slip knot will maintain tension at the closure site, followed with 2 square knots that will lock and secure the suture.
At this point, we will demonstrate the technique with string for proper visualization, and then we will follow that with applying it using suture material. I'm going to show you the difference between a square knot and a slip knot using string. Now, we're often taught to begin by throwing a square knot, like so. This knot is designed to be locking. And the difference between a square knot and a slip knot is simply the direction you pull your tail. As you can see now, we have a slip knot that can slide up and down and is mobile, versus a square knot, which is designed to lock into place. And so the problem with beginning with a square knot is that after you put your first throw, perhaps you did not obtain sufficient tension, or perhaps there's been a change at the wound closure site and tension is lost. And in between your first throw and your second throw, if that were to happen, and you go to throw your second square knot, now you're locked. Now there's nothing you can do to make any change. And now you're stuck with inadequate tension on your wound. And that's the reason why we recommend the secure suturing technique by beginning with 2 slip knots instead. So let me show you. Now, we begin exactly the same as a square knot, except we choose instead to throw a slip knot. And we're going to throw 1 slip knot followed by a second slip knot, as you can see. And we can go ahead and adjust these still using our index finger in order to apply adequate tension on the wound. So now we have 2 slip knots anchoring our suture in place, but still not locked. And so in order to lock the slip knots, we can go ahead and apply a square knot. And then it's always a good idea to throw at least 1 more square knot on top in order to finalize our suture. So there you go. That's the technique. 2 slip knots followed by 2 square knots. So now you've seen on string, we're going to show you with real sutures.
So now that you've seen it with string and hand tie, let's go ahead and do this with an instrument tie. So we have a 3/0 nylon suture here. We have our suture board and our instruments. When you do this tie, it's good, especially with a nylon type suture. As you pull it out of the packaging, it'll have the memory from where they wrapped it during the factory packaging. If you can get that memory out of your suture, it'll make your tie a lot easier. So as you can see, there's a whole lot of memory here. So what we do is we just hold it and pull on it a few times. Okay, so let's throw a suture. To begin, you want adequate tissue on either side of your wound closure site. You pull the suture through, and then we're going to throw 2 slip knots followed by 2 square knots. So that's going to look like this. 1, you can see that we have a slip knot that's laying down. 2, we have 2 slip knots going right on top of each other, and you can see that we can maintain adequate tension just with those. Now, when we throw our square knot on top, we will lock it into place with adequate tension at our wound closure site. Finish it off with 1 more square knot, and you have an adequate suture placement. In this video, we showed you a suggested method to provide consistent, secure surgical knotting.
We hope you found this useful. We would like to thank Dr. Taraj Kormi for initiating this project and providing the technical guidance for production of this video.